I have found out that Wanda Sykes is just a higher-pitched Richard Pryor. Because if you remember Richard Pryor, he used to sound like this, like,
man, you know, like take a doogie and like, you know, sometimes it just doesn't come out right.
just take that voice and add helium, and you get Wanda Sykes. Here's my little balloon of helium.
Man, you know, like take a doogie and like, sometimes it just doesn't come out right.
Sometimes when she doesn't do comedy, I do voice work for her sometimes, in case she needs a body double. Now, I know I don't look it, but I'm an Uber driver. That's the first time anyone's ever cheered for that. All right. I consider my career a complete failure because I didn't pick up Matthew McConaughey once. I've hung around Malibu. I've done it all. I've tried to hit up his spots to hang out, but I feel like he would be super cool to hang out with. Like he would sit in the back seat of my car and he would be like,
man, listen, I really gotta tell you, I couldn't put the destination on the app. Because where I'm going is nowhere near this dimension. Sorry, I just like to lick my lips. Sometimes I feel like I'm about to kiss and shit. I got a question for you, buddy. Does your Prius travel through dimensions and get 60 mpg?
no, it doesn't, Matthew.
You see? That's why you should have got a Lincoln. I'd like to thank the Academy for the applause.
But I did pick up one celebrity. I picked up Steve-O from Jackass. Very, very nice guy. And I had to ask him, Steve, how do you make it in Los Angeles? How do you do it? And I'll never forget the words he told me. He said,
It's really easy, man. Like, all you gotta do is just let this snapping turtle bite your dick off, man. Maybe we can get you some followers from that on Instagram.
Everything looks good.
I know everybody hates Trump. I know. I understand. I think I think everybody's kind of overreacting, but if it has to be this way, I think the only way that Donald Trump can be palatable to California is if Dave Chappelle got to sit right next to him and give his 2 cents on everything he says. Now, I'm going to warn everybody, I'm going to play Trump. Don't throw a spear at me, okay? Just an impression. But imagine at the State of the Union address, he goes, I'm going to build a very great wall. It's going to be great, and we're going to bring back all the water. Now, the water, you're asking, where is it going? How do I get it? Very simple. I'm going to put it all in a giant condom. Those things never break. Then I'm going to dump it in the Silver Lake Reservoir. It's brilliant. It's genius. Why has nobody thought of this idea? And then sitting right next to him, the legend himself says,
Is that right? You gonna bring back all the coal? Well, how about you bring back all those stolen pussies you've been taking?
Bring back the stolen pussies.
Donald Trump says something else like, Coal is gonna be the greatest resource this world has ever seen. Fuck electricity, that's for pussies. Okay, so good. But then Dave Chappelle once again gives his infinite wisdom, and he says,
You gonna bring back coal, man? Is that right? There's only one person that's allowed to bring back coal, man. And that's Santa Claus, man. Come on, what the hell are you doing?
the biggest complaint I get with that impression is that people say, oh, that's Def Jam Dave Chappelle. He sounds different now. He sounds like he smokes a lot, doesn't he? Like, you'd make a great anti-smoking ad, like,
This is me 20 years ago.
And this is what I sound like now. Don't smoke, kids. Or else you're gonna put out 5 specials in 3 years.
I like watching Our Planet on Netflix. You guys watch that show? You guys watch it with David Attenborough? I love watching it because it gives such a positive message. David Attenborough always goes like,
Millions of species on planet Earth are slowly being deleted. And this is because of you. We are now going to show you footage of a wildebeest being attacked by lions. You could have done something to But you didn't, did you? You let an innocent creature die. And Jesus saw everything.
I feel less guilty if Bill Burr narrated that series. In case you don't know who Bill Burr is, he's basically a comedian who's always angry all the time, and he's from Boston. So imagine for a second just that guy go in the background like, "Oh man, fuck that wildebeest! I'm glad it's fucking dead. It was the weak one of the herd. You know, it was waiting to get picked off. You know what I'm saying?" Thank you. What a compliments in here. Speaking of environmentalism, I watched that movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I didn't know this about Leonardo DiCaprio, but he's a very, very big environmentalist. I didn't know this about him. But I think that's partly the reason why he's still single. It's because he keeps bringing up his, cure the planet agenda with every perfect 10 he's with. You know what I'm saying? Like every time he's in bed with a woman, he always pushes his agenda like, well, I gotta be honest with you, having sex with you is quite enjoyable. But honestly, it doesn't quite feel as good as saving an elephant for its ivory. I've decided to come inside you now. But sadly, I'm just not going to do it for you. I'm doing it for the penguins. You'll never get that image out of your brain. Oh man, I love going to LA Fitness, but I do care about the environment. But the one thing I can't stand is when people leave stacks of used napkins in the treadmill cup holders. It's disgusting. And I can't say this without sounding livid, but I have to say it as Sebastian Maniscalco. He's another comedian that probably half of you know, but it's okay. But he's like an Italian guy fused with Jim Carrey. And he kind of sounds like, I say it like this all the time, like, why would you leave all these napkins in the cup holder? Who does this? There's a trash treadmill going, oh no, now I got AIDS. Let's talk about me now. I'm from Tucson, I'm from the desert, and I don't know if it's the heat, but my parents are getting funnier as they're getting older. My dad's close to retirement, so he's now calling me for absolutely no reason at all. But he's a sweetheart. This is a conversation I had with him recently. I was like, hey Dad, how's it going?
Oh, hey Nick. Do you remember that bird feeder I made last week?
Vaguely. What's going on, Dad?
Well, we have 2 beautiful cardinals visiting our backyard right now. I tried to take a picture of them, but they flew away. Oh my goodness, here comes a blue jay. Oh. How's your stand-up going?
It's going pretty well, Dad. It's going pretty well.
Well, your mother and I want you to know that we support all of your decisions, good or bad.
My favorite thing to do when I was a kid is to go through the drive-thru and pretend to be cartoon characters. You can imagine the scope that I have, but this is my favorite exchange I've ever had in my entire life. And it basically goes like, hey, welcome to Burger King. Can I take your order?
Oh, hi, I'm Lois Griffin. Can I have the number 4, please?
Do you want anything else?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Stewie, do you want anything?
I'm just gonna have a strawberry milkshake, please.
That's too much sugar for you, Stewie. You're gonna get nothing. You're gonna like it.
Damn you, vile woman! I should have killed you last season.
Can I just get a beer? I just want a beer, everybody.
Ugh, great, another reason for the fat man not to be able to lift the car open. Dude, you know I can see you in the camera right there, right? My name is Nick Kane. Thank you very much.
Already tipped your wait staff. Our next comic you've seen on Netflix's The OA and the